There is a moment in life when you stop and ask yourself, am I truly being myself? Not just in appearance, not just in words, but in the deepest, rawest sense. Do my thoughts, feelings, and actions align? Or am I just playing a role, adjusting to the world around me, hiding parts of myself to be accepted rather than understood? It's an unsettling question, one that most people avoid. But deep down, you already know the answer. There's a tension, a quiet conflict between what you believe, what you feel, and what you actually do. And if you ignore it long enough, that conflict turns into exhaustion, frustration, even emptiness. So how do we bridge the gap? How do we step into real coherence, where we are not divided inside ourselves, where we are not at war with our own truth? To understand, we must first ask, what does it mean to be coherent? Coherence is often mistaken for following the rules, being logical, being predictable. If you don't act the way others expect, you are inconsistent. If your words don't match someone else's logic, you are incoherent. If your choices don't align with the norm, you are lost. But this is not real coherence. Real coherence is not about matching the expectations of others. It is about aligning what you believe, what you feel, and what you do. It is the connection between mind, heart, and action, between spirit, soul, and body. When these three are in harmony, you are no longer pretending. You are no longer at war with yourself. You are whole. But for most people, this alignment never happens. Why? Because from the moment we are born, we are taught to follow, not to listen to ourselves. We are conditioned to fit in, to obey, to seek approval. We are taught to care more about how we are perceived than about who we truly are. And so, we start suppressing parts of ourselves. We quiet our voices. We hide our real thoughts. We push down our true desires just to be accepted. But here's the truth. You were never meant to fit inside someone else's version of reality. And the longer you try, the more you will feel that something is missing. Because what's missing is you. Imagine this. You set off on a journey, excited, ready to explore. But along the way, you stop for fuel. And suddenly, everyone at the gas station stares at you. They don't like your car. They don't like your clothes. They don't understand your words. You feel out of place. So you begin to hesitate. You question yourself. You wonder if maybe, just maybe, you should change to match what they expect. Dress like them, speak like them, act like them. And so, your journey slows. You are no longer moving toward your dream. You are moving toward their approval. This is what happens when we live for others. We abandon our own path just to feel accepted on someone else's. But what happens when you try to live for yourself? At first, you will question everything. You will feel alone. You will feel judged. Not because you are wrong, but because you are different. And when you stop playing by the rules, when you stop needing approval, you become unpredictable. And that terrifies people. Because if you can break free, then so can they. And nothing threatens the system more than a person who is truly free. This is the first great challenge of coherence, to stand in your own truth, even when the world does not understand it. But here's the mistake many make. The moment they break free, they try to prove themselves right, to convince others, to show them the way. But soon, you will realize you don't need to. True coherence doesn't need validation. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need permission. It simply exists. And when you reach that place, you will no longer resist the world because you will no longer need to. You will no longer fight for acceptance because you will have already accepted yourself. And from that moment forward, your life will no longer be a performance. It will be a truth. So the real question is, Are you still living for others? Or are you finally ready to live for yourself? Because coherence is not about pretending. It is not about pleasing. It is about looking at the world and saying, I don't need permission to be who I am, because I am already whole.